Okay, here we go. We are doing a recap episode for the last episode of season 1 of the Rosa and Rhea podcast. So welcome. If you haven't listened to any episodes yet, this is a great episode to listen to if you want a short synopsis of all the things we love to talk about. Or you can just click back and go to episode 1 and start there if you don't want to feel like you're a little bit lost or behind.
Yeah, I mean, I love synopsises.
Yeah,
synopses. So, I mean, I would personally listen to the synopses show.
Yeah.
But if you're a real audiophile, go back.
Audiophile.
Wow. How do I have a podcast? I don't know.
Yeah, for the audiophiles out there in our lives, go back and click season 1, episode 1.
Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel because we're always going to have new content coming out. We got new videos of us. We're going to do product reviews. So make sure you're subscribed.
Absolutely. So welcome to the Rosa and Rhea podcast. I'm Rosa.
And I'm Rhea.
And today we're going to talk about everything we talked about in season 1.
Oh my God.
I hope you have 10 hours.
Yeah, get ready. Buckle down.
Okay, so first was episode 1. And I just want to know, do you have any new firsts you want to share?
Oh, God. I mean, so many, right? I mean, I shared a lot of them.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't even remember. Can you remind me what we talked about wanting to do in first? Do you remember?
Butt stuff.
Oh, butt stuff.
Masturbating with your own self. But honestly, just maybe talk about, is there anything on the forefront of your mind that you've tried recently that
I would like to go back to that because I think I did talk about how I want to jump back on the butt horse, right? I don't know what is going on with my speaking today, but I think you get the idea. I had that bad experience that one time when I was doing butt sex, fucking 10 years ago.
Oh, by the way, you never elaborated on what the bad experience was. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So basically, I said 10 years. I was exaggerating excessively. It was a couple years ago. It was with a long-term boyfriend, and his dick was totally normal sized. By the way, I have to say this 100 times over. I don't care about dick size. I'll take any dick shape, size, whatever, big, small. Anyways, his was average size. So it wasn't huge or anything. We had done anal play before or butt sex, and it was fine. But for whatever reason, this one time, I don't know if he was going too hard or if I wasn't lubed up enough or perhaps I wasn't turned on enough. But it fucking hurt, bad. My butt hurt, my butthole hurt for 2 or 3 days afterwards.
Oh my God. And what about was there blood? Was it really, really bad?
No, it wasn't like that, but it was I think I had to go take a plane ride the next day or something. I think that amplified it.
Oh man, you must have been so grumpy.
Yeah.
Rhea gets really grumpy on planes.
Yeah, and then I had a sore butt. And it was it wasn't a 10-hour flight, but it was a 5-hour flight. And I think that amplified it. And then my butt was still sore when I got to my destination. And so after that, I was that's it. I shut her down. Mm-hmm. Close sign. Licking was fine. Mm-hmm. Maybe a finger on the outside. But after that, I didn't. And then since then, so I mentioned that in first, that I had that bad experience. And then I wanted to get back into butt stuff. But I haven't really, to be honest. And you know why? It's because I haven't found anyone to really have proper sex with.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know?
It has to be right.
And it's not just right. It's the thing with butt stuff, especially if you're trying to get back into it, it's you need to feel comfortable with the person. Mm-hmm. So if you're just having sex with the person 1 or 2 times, I need to go have sex with someone several times, get comfortable with them, and then work my way to that point.
Yeah, totally.
So that's why I haven't done it yet.
But they say you have to build back the positive connection that you have between pleasure and butt stuff. So right now you have a very negative association, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I always said it's so fun to do it on your own.
Because
really nothing negative is going to happen. You might notice, oh, that was kind of painful, but you're not worrying about anyone else's pleasure. You're not being considerate of anybody else. It's kind of like traveling on your own. You're like, I think I'll do this right now. I think I'll do this right now. You're not asking the other person, oh, are you okay with that? Are you happy with this? It's all about yourself, and you're able to rebuild that association with butt stuff and pleasure instead of the only thing you have right now is just pain, 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 terrible plane ride, right?
It was pretty traumatic, to be honest. And
Yeah.
I should say it wasn't the guy's fault. Like, it was totally consensual.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't like he was going, going too hard or anything. I mean, maybe a little bit, but like we were into it at the time, and
But then afterwards,
we didn't mean for that to happen. Between firsts and now, I should have spent more time trying stuff on my own, because I think that was your advice before, and it's a really good tip.
Yeah.
I also. I would like to find maybe the right kind of toy too. I think that might be part of my issue. I gotta go and find a better toy.
Yeah.
Nothing
And
too
then-
big.
Yeah. No,
Like that big ass dildo I bought.
Yeah, not that. And that kind of segues nicely into when we talked about porn in episode 2. The biggest message I think that we were saying is that porn is always the most extreme version of every fantasy and kink and dynamic that you see. So a lot of people could live with a dom sub dynamic all the time in their lives, but porn, what you see in their like playtime is like an 11 out of 10. So you could have like a very like 2 out of 10 dom subby situation and live with the person, and have something very, very scaled down all the rest of the time. And, porn is designed for the frenzy of masturbating, and, it's very exciting to look at. But if you look at anal, the girls are getting like pounded with huge cocks. They're not like, oh, let's play with it first. Are you good with this? Of course, this is the most extreme version. So if you have that in your mind about butt stuff, and you think that that's the only way to do it, then you're probably never going to go and do it. You have to remember you can scale all these things down, that you don't have to be that extreme. I mean, you can work up to it if you want, especially if the other person is into it just like you are. You could work up to it in one session, but you could also work up to it over the course of your life.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're totally right. I mean, I think porn, it's easy to start thinking in that way where everything is supposed to look like that in real life.
Yeah, even vanilla sex. It's
Yeah.
like no one has to fuck you that hard.
Yeah.
Like you can take your time. It doesn't have to be 20 minutes. It could be
Yeah.
hours. It could be 5 minutes. It's all your own making. And you can go off what you see on porn, but...
You could even have no penetration.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
another thing that is totally underrated, is when you meet up with someone, and that's like the opposite of porn, right? When you meet up with someone and there's no penetration whatsoever, maybe you do masturbation, or you're just even dirty talk with the person, or you're doing different scenarios. There's tons of stuff like that. I mean, I honestly, because I have that big pink dildo that I bought, and it kind of hurts to always put it inside of me. I have to be like super turned on. But like what I like to do is just rub it on the outside of my pussy.
Oh, yeah.
So in my
You
mind,
could do that with a dick.
Yeah, I was like, what if I could get a guy to come over and literally just, you can't put your dick inside me. All you can do is rub your dick on the outside of my pussy.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
I've done that lots of times.
Wow, I'm gonna
I did
try
that
that.
recently, actually, Rhea. And this ties into butt stuff, too, so I'll say the story now. I used my butt plug. A guy came over for a play, and I was like, I really want to use this butt plug. And so we never had penetrative sex. We experienced each other and we both came, and it was amazing. And he used the butt plug. And what I learned about the butt plug, because it's stainless steel, is actually kind of an extreme butt plug, which I didn't realize. So it's cold.
Yeah.
Because it's steel. So that's one interesting factor, because your butt will really feel the different temperatures. So you can heat it up first if you want. Like you could put it in warm water. The cold aspect was kind of hot. And then he was like using his fingers inside of my pussy while it was in. And I could actually feel like it might actually hurt a little bit to have a dick in me and the butt plug in me at the
Right,
same
like
time.
a DP situation.
Because it's so hard. It's so stainless steely.
That's very interesting.
Right? So I'm glad actually that we didn't have penetrative sex because I didn't know him that well. So it might have been like awkward to be like, actually, this hurts.
Yeah.
But we didn't. We just sort of played that way, and it was really, really hot. I felt super comfortable with it, and I hope I get to use the butt plug again soon. Like, it was a really good time. But I actually might purchase like a small, not smaller, but like a softer one as well.
So if you're gonna do DP with your butt plug, you might want to get a softer material, so it's
just
not,
to start with, like,
Yeah.
it is partly pain play, and for other people it might not be as painful, but I noticed that there was going to be a pain aspect, very small amount, but you kind of notice it.
Interesting.
But one of the good things, and that could be a good thing or bad thing depending on what you want, but one of the good things for me was when stuff is happening to my butt, it almost feels like my pussy, like my privates are like drunk. Like I don't know what he's touching or what's happening, but it all feels really good. And I felt like I could experience pleasure a lot more. It wasn't just like one finger on my clit and that's all I'm focusing on. It was like just everything was a lot of pleasure going on down there. So that's, I think, one of the benefits of like getting into ass play and being like open to it, because the rest of your pussy, your clit, all of it gets like way more sensitive and turned on, and it's like a more whole pleasure experience.
Interesting.
Very cool. Yeah.
So I think that if I get a butt plug, I'm gonna get like the softest one possible.
Yeah, get a little soft one. And what I learned years ago about butt plugs is that a lot of people use them to prime their butt to receive a dick afterwards. So you have it in there, you're doing play, you're getting really, really turned on, then they remove the butt plug and your butthole is ready more for something bigger like a dick.
Yeah.
So I think the softer one that we're talking about going and buying, first of all, they're cheaper, and I think that would be more of a thing that could prime you up and make you ready and help you on your way.
Cool.
Yeah. The next one was episode 3, threesomes. We have not had any threesomes.
Threesomes, episode 3.
Yeah.
Isn't that ironic? We didn't
even plan that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But I didn't have a threesome.
No, neither did I. But I did try. I tried so hard. I was rallying. I was getting fucked. I was like, will you have a threesome with me? I was asking people during sex. I mean, it was crazy. I was like really, maybe too hard. I think I pushed too hard for it.
Yeah.
And it seemed impossible to me. I got really down about it because I thought it would be so easy. And everyone's saying, oh, you can't find 2 guys to do it with you. But the thing is if you want to do it consensually, you want to be on the same page, all 3 people have to be in on it, right?
Yeah, and they have to be like able to have these adult conversations that we, set as our like baseline for any kind of play that we're going to do with people.
And the other thing I noticed when I was trying to set up my threesome, and this was kind of a theme, was that there was a lot of people, guys in this case, but it could be people, who would say they would want to do something like a threesome and then not really want to follow through with it. And I know, Rosa, you're way more hardcore about this than I am, but it's like when you say something, you're going to do it. And it's kind of like the same thing for me. Like if I say I want to have a threesome with 2 guys, I'm going to fucking do it if I have the right guys and it's the right situation and it's all consensual. Like I'm GGG, I'm ready. But
100%.
There are people out there who say, oh yeah, I would love to do that. But then they don't really mean it.
Yeah, and then they're like, maybe they're expecting you to take the ropes, or I don't even know. It's very tricky.
It's so tricky.
Still on my list of things I really want to try. I want to do both 2 girls and a guy, 2 guys and a girl. I want to do it all. I want to experience it. I feel way more confident these days as well because I have like done so much, other experimenting. And so I'm ready. I just need to have the opportunity come my way or take advantage of an opportunity when I see it, and say, actually I really want to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it is. It's a lot trickier than I thought it was. But I mean, I think it's tricky just having 2 people trying to have sex.
Yeah.
Right? And so then you add like a 3rd person and it's like even trickier.
Yeah. But I think we're hopeful.
Very hopeful.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, I'm going to keep asking, and looking for candidates, basically, taking applications. But I screen very heavily.
Yeah,
so
heavily,
it's like...
The next episode was Bad Boys. And, I mean, for me, Bad Boys was, like, a thing of my past. And the more interesting topic is, like, fuck boys.
Yeah.
Because, really, they're just fucking time wasters is what they are.
Time wasters. I think that's
time
huge.
wasters who don't want to deal with your feelings.
Oh,
And
time
it's
wasters.
Like, get out.
It's like, and again, I like it when people are direct. Time wasting, there's like, they tend to lead people on, you know, make you think that you're going to do certain things, and then they're just not really there, right?
Yeah. Well, for me, the irony, and I think this is actually not that ironic. I think this is what happens when you become really aware. As soon as we did that episode, I haven't met a fuckboy since. Because they're staying the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I see one, it's like a red flag, that we talked about that a lot in that episode, is now a deal breaker for me.
That's right.
Whereas before, a red flag would be, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if that pans out. Maybe it's not really that bad. But now my state of mind is like, no, you're going to waste my fucking time. And actually, that kind of red flag, that kind of deal breaker is a gift.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Because you say, thank you for letting me know that this isn't going to work out, because now I can go spend my time looking for the right person.
Yeah.
You know? And maybe that's not always just for fuckboys. That could be for anyone who doesn't vibe with what you want, or who isn't on the same page as you.
Yeah.
If they let you know that right away, whether it be a red flag or whether it be, a verbal mature conversation, that is a gift.
Yeah, absolutely.
You say thank you so much, because otherwise I would have wasted my fucking time with you.
Yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of this, happens because there's some confusion with what people want. Like when they're not communicating their needs. So like one person, like, and there's a confusion between sex and love. Right? You might be in a situation where you're talking with someone, and one person might be thinking, oh, I want a relationship, I want to love this person, and they're mistaking the person's attention for like a good candidate for that. But really the other person just wants to get fucked.
Yeah.
And that's where, you have to be clear. It's okay to be wanting to just have sex with people casually. That's totally cool. But you got to communicate that to people and stay up front and not lead people on, not waste their time. Right? And just be like, hey, I'm just here for a short time, not a long time. But say it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think saying it is great, but also I think one of the reasons that I haven't met any more fuckboys is because of the boundaries I put up.
Yeah, boundaries are important, yeah.
We've also majorly risen our standards, and those standards being, I don't send any more pics. I don't send nudes anymore. I don't want to, and I don't do it. And if a guy tries to convince me to do it, or he asks me a whole bunch of times, he's cut. Any deal breakers that I see, it's done. And that is how you eliminate getting wrapped up with a fuckboy. I mean, obviously, maybe there's some sneaky ones out there. But I don't think that it is a coincidence that as soon as we talked about that and became more aware, that all of a sudden there's no more fuckboys coming around me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know what? You're not welcome here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think you do let fuckboys in by ignoring red flags, lowering your standard for how much you think you're worth, and how much you deserve to be treated well or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
right?
my God. The
this
self-worth
isn't about,
thing,
and this isn't about blaming people. Oh, it's your fault you have a fuckboy in your life.
No.
But listen, if you recognize a red flag over and over and over, and you get treated badly over and over and over, and you don't cut this person out, then it is your fucking fault.
Yeah.
So stop it.
And I'm the worst for that. Like, I walk by so many red flags. I love, I talked about this before. Making excuses. I love the bad boys and just like whatever, ignoring stuff. But Rosa's right. Self-worth is so important. As soon as I started looking at myself and how worthy I was of a good relationships, good sex, it cut out like 90% of the people.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Sometimes people, I think, get afraid of being alone, but that's actually totally okay, because it's a very short period of time. Just because you clear the horizon of all these fuckboys, it's just going to make it easier in the next coming weeks or months for you to see a really good guy coming at you. If you have all this clutter of fuckboys, you might not recognize the good guy in the You know, you might not
Oh, yeah.
recognize the forest for the trees
Yeah.
because there's too much to see. So you got to clear the horizon, and don't be afraid of being alone, because that good person will come around as soon as you make that decision that that's all you want in your life. I promise you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like magic.
And like Rosa says, there is a fear. Oh my God, well, am I going to be so lonely now that I don't talk to all these idiots? Well, no. Like, I swear to God, every time I've risen that bar higher, I've got even more messages
Yeah.
from people or people that want to connect with me. And it's probably because they get attracted to by someone. People like to see someone set boundaries.
Yes.
Actually,
It shows good.
humans are like dogs in a way that they thrive on them,
Yes.
right? So it seems counterintuitive because you get worried. You're like, oh, I'm going to be lonely. No one's going to want to talk to me. But when you see people taking charge of their own lives, it's actually very attractive.
Yeah.
And it can be quite a turn on for
And
good people.
It brings good people to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next one was orgasms.
Oh, wow,
The
yeah.
only thing that I want to say about that is that because I learned about a blended orgasm, which is when you can have your clit basically stimulated from the inside and the outside at the same time during intercourse or penetration or, play in many ways, you can have an even stronger, more prolonged orgasm. Because I learned that, I wanted to learn more, and I basically just learned on myself. I had sex with myself so much more, and my orgasm started getting way better. There's things that you even know about, like edging. I knew edging existed, but I would never really practice it. Now when I practice it, it's like the strongest orgasm ever. I'm so pleased with that. And then my other thing that I learned about orgasms is just that they're about letting go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're not about trying to have an orgasm. It's about letting go.
Yeah, definitely. And I agree with you 100% on that. You have to be very, very comfortable. And I think masturbating is very important. You should try all kinds of different ways. Any kind of way that you feel curious of doing by yourself, just let yourself do it. That's another part of letting go, right?
Oh, yeah, like different positions. Like,
Yeah.
For years, I just masturbated on my back with my 2 fingers. Now I go doggy style. I go in the mirror. I stand up. I go in the shower.
Yeah.
Like, I try, and it helps with fantasizing. Like, sometimes I'll be like doggy style on my bed, just imagining a guy behind me, like
Yes,
ready
very
to fuck
cool,
me.
very cool.
Right? And I would never think of that if I'm just laying there on my back trying to get.
Yeah, I mean, I was like that too. I would always do it exactly the same way. I think maybe there's always a little bit of, not for me anymore, but I think people have a little bit of a shame when it comes to masturbating. Like,
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Even when you're by yourself in your room and no one is around for whatever reason, you're like, I'm only going to do it this one way. It's like missionary when you're having sex with someone.
Yeah, and that can get really boring.
It can get really boring. So plus it helps in the bedroom with other people when you know what pleases you, right?
Yeah.
And the more comfortable you can be with your own body, that transfers over. Like, that's a huge turn on for people. If there's one turn on that I know about guys, is a woman who's confident with her own body, right? Yeah. Touching herself, knowing what turns her on, that gets dicks so fucking hard. I swear to God. I have a recommendation. I've definitely done the same as you. I've tried different toys. I've tried different positions. But my recommendation for women, if you're kind of uncomfortable with masturbating, I think you should film yourself. Maybe start with a mirror. Okay, do it in front of a mirror. But a second step would be to film yourself on your phone, just as a personal video, and just see
how hot it is.
And it is like,
it's very hot.
It's very hot. I have we talked about this in porn, right? Like, I make my own personal porn, but like, I get turned on by watching my own videos.
Yeah,
it's hot.
Yeah,
and it's like. And it's because I'm not like faking it. I'm not doing it in some weird way. I'm doing exactly what turns me on, and that's the turn on.
Yeah.
So I recommend trying new positions, new toys, maybe filming yourself, maybe doing it in front of a mirror. And then lastly, once you get real comfortable, doing it in front of your partner.
Yeah.
Right?
And
no penetration, just masturbation.
Yeah, and there's another part to that as well is once you get more comfortable, is you can start practicing the way you want to come when you're with a guy, okay? So, for example, for Rhea, it's really easy for her to get on top and come. Like, a lot of women tell me this is the easiest thing ever. They just grind on the guy and they come. But for me, it took practice. So part of the practice was I went in that position, like as if a guy was underneath me, and I practiced it that way. So that I got comfortable with the position. I got comfortable, I don't know, just like grinding my hips that way. And then once I was on top of him, it was like, oh, I've already come this way before. So you can use it as practice for different ways you want to come with a partner.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, sometimes that's the only way you're going to come. Or it's something new and exciting, so you really want to try it. And it can really expand your whole sex life and make your orgasms better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, the next one is Tinder.
Oh, God, what a nightmare.
I haven't been on Tinder in a while.
Oh.
I met a couple guys on there. One of them I still chit-chat with. We still haven't been able to make a date. This is, I think, a primo Tinder example. Is like, I met up with him one time and we just had a hangout. We were, like, excited. Like, I was really attracted to him. He was attracted to me. Excited to see each other. But, like, he has a job where he's working all the time. I work nights. We literally have not been able to make a fucking plan.
Yeah.
And he's the kind of person, and this is fine, you meet lots of people like this, he wants to be spontaneous. He wants to text me 15 minutes before, want to grab a drink. And it's like, that's fine, but it's maybe going to take us months to get together then, right? Because for me, I will book dates a week in advance, and I'll stick to them, and I'll look forward to them. But that's how, like, I only have 2 nights off a week. So if people can only hang out at night, then you have 2 options. And probably one of them's already going to be booked up, hanging out with my friends. And I think this is very common with Tinder, and maybe why people just kind of fuck the first time they meet, and then they don't really see each other again. But I'm really not interested in doing that, because I have obviously very specific things that I want from a guy. One of them being respect. And I don't really think I'll feel respected if some guy just hits it and quits it.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of like all that I have to say about Tinder right now. I think it goes in waves. I definitely will go back on there for sure. And, like, I hope to meet more guys. But it hasn't really been the best. It's like I said about clearing the horizon. It's very hard to wade through.
Oh, the wading through is unbelievable. I mean,
it's like a lot of debris.
Oh, there's
right?
just like, and like you guys, like you could be the best guy on the planet, but like if you have no information in your bio
or a private profile
and,
on
like,
your Instagram,
I mean, it's
and no
just
pictures.
Unbelievable. I need to know at least something. And also, I mean, a couple tips that I have for guys is, one, if you do really want to connect with a girl, and she might say no, but what I recommend doing is saying, 2 weeks from now, let's go to a date. Let's go to this place. I'm going to make a reservation at this fucking restaurant, and this is when we're going to go out. None of this fucking
wishy-washy shit.
Let's meet for coffee.
It's like you're leaving it open for cancellation,
yeah,
which is not the point. No one wants to cancel. We want to meet up.
And I'm not looking for a boyfriend. I just want someone who can be an adult and commit to hanging out in real life. Like, I love meeting people in real life. I have no issue meeting a stranger and going on a date. But for some reason, people are flaky. They don't want to commit to actually meeting up with you. And it's really fucking annoying. It's like, I want to have sex with you, but I can't because you're not even able to take me out on a date.
Well, a lot of people are shy or scared, but that's the thing. Like, Will Smith always says, on the other side of fear, there could be something great. And there usually is.
Yeah.
And in this case, it could be a great date.
Yes, exactly.
Right? And if you can't even meet up and plan something, like Rhea's saying, then that's not a good sign for the rest of our interactions, right? Yes. Just because I want to have several interactions with you or ongoing interactions with you, my potential Tinder boyfriend or Tinder date out there, it doesn't mean like, oh, we have to build a life together. It's just like just like any other friend, I have a standard of respect that I need to be treated with. So, make a plan, stick to it, and let's meet up and see if it works.
And you know what? It might be really fucking awkward and weird, and the person might be like totally different than you thought or whatever, but you can just laugh it off. Like, even if it's
you can
awkward,
just leave.
and even if the date doesn't work out, like, it's not like a lost cause. It's just another opportunity for you to practice your communication skills, meeting new people. You're always going to benefit. Even if it's the weirdest fucking date you've ever been on, you can have a good laugh about it.
And you will learn something. And you'll realize it's not that scary. You have to continuously keep, like, breaking that ice, even within yourself, because it is scary. I got really nervous when I met my Tinder guy. The second time was easier, because I'm like, no, I already did this. And then the second one I met, I was like, I bet this will be awesome. And I felt completely comfortable. If I wanted to leave, I could have just left. And been like, okay, well, this has been great.
Yeah, absolutely. And then my other recommendation, because I'm actually on Tinder a lot. I don't actually go on a lot of dates because no one can fucking book a date with me for some reason. But my other recommendation is that I find guys, and probably girls too, but a lot of the guys are very judgy. And they're not very open-minded. I think it would be good if people, they're looking for a certain body type. They don't want certain pictures. They don't want, like, they're like, if you have a selfie with a duck face, forget it. If you're this, forget it. If you're that, no. And, like, it's okay to have those types of boundaries. But when you're just like, you're kind of closing yourself off a little bit, I think, or you have to be a certain height, or you have to look a certain way.
Yeah, the height thing is very weird to me.
I think people need to forget so much about the outside of people and just be open-minded, go meet new people.
Yeah, because you never know. They could actually be the one that fulfills your deepest sexual fantasy, that you end up, having an ongoing, amazing sexual relationship with, or even falling in love. Like, you have no idea what's going to happen. Just, you're really going to say that a duck lip selfie is a deal breaker? This woman is just doing what society does or whatever, right? Like,
who knows?
Who knows? You really have to look past that.
Yeah, so don't judge a book by its cover. We said that before. I think
the only thing that you should be judging by its cover is a book.
That's
Everything else, get deeper.
Yeah, get deeper and open yourself up. Let your, I know it's scary and people can be a little shy, but I think it would be good to open yourself up to new opportunities.
That's a great tip. Yeah, don't be scared. Okay, we did an episode called Pull Out. Basically, I'm a big fan of the pull-out method.
As am I.
But Rhea and I have been talking about recently, and we didn't really go into this. One of the biggest reasons why I'm such a fan of the pull-out method is because I would rather die, or obviously get pregnant, than be on birth control. Be on a hormonal birth control. Because I was on one for 10 years. I probably cried every single day. My life was a fucking roller coaster. As a woman, there has got to be a better way. And then people say, oh, well, an IUD. The people that have told me that they got one inserted inside of them said they barfed. It was so painful.
Yeah.
Who invented this? Other ones fall out. Other ones get attached to your uterus by accident. The guy, I talked to a guy yesterday. He says when he's fucking a girl with an IUD, he can feel it poking him.
That is some fucked up shit.
Like, excuse me? Like, why would you want to introduce that into your sex life?
No, you don't. That sounds terrible. I don't want anything inserted anywhere in my vagina ever. And the hormone thing, people don't realize how powerful hormones are. I mean, I'm no doctor and I'm definitely not a gynecologist, but hormones are very, very powerful. Even small doses, which is what birth control is, it's going to affect your body and your mind. And I have no time for that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's the woman that has to take the brunt of that, right?
My hormones, my PMS, my whatever, like, everyone says during your period, you get grumpy, you get sad. Ever since I went off birth control, over the last 5 years, I have had almost no PMS symptoms. When I was on birth control, I was a mess.
Well, it's like you have PMS symptoms all the time probably when you're on birth control.
But now there's differences in my period, and I can't skip a period, and maybe it could be inconvenient, but not a lot of people know this, but a woman's cycle, 28 days, is the same cycle as the moon. Like there's a very connective energy that goes with women, the procreators of the world, the life givers, and the moon. And for the first year I went off birth control, every full moon I'd get my period.
Yeah.
Like this is not a coincidence. And I could feel my body over the years, really the hormones coming back, and it takes years. And so I would really rather get pregnant than use any kind of birth control that's hormonal.
I don't recommend it to women, to be honest. I mean, unless it's like dire situation and you really have, for whatever reason, you have 5 kids already and it's something like that.
Yeah, that would be a very good reason. There's every woman's different and every woman can make their own decision.
Yeah.
Thank fucking God, because in the States right now, obviously that is being compromised. But here in Canada, we can make our own decisions about birth control and we can get it for pretty low cost, which is awesome. You can literally go out today and get your birth control if you need it. No one's going to judge you. There's no one in Congress trying to pass an act.
But if you have the choice, me personally, I would never.
Well, I did for 10 years and I really don't recommend it.
Yeah.
But I do use condoms.
Yes.
If I meet somebody new, I talk to them about, STDs and everything and whether or not we've been checked recently and all this stuff and if we want to use condoms or not.
And you can use the Get Checked website, Get Checked Online, which is awesome.
Oh my
right?
God, it's so
We did
good.
that.
Yeah.
We went and got checked. I was sweating.
I was sweating. And both of us are clean.
I was like, and I wasn't sure, right? I mean, I think everyone's
really know.
Everyone's got paranoia, right? Yeah. So, I mean, obviously I'm pretty safe-ish, but you never know, right? So I fingers crossed, but we went and got checked. They send you, so we went into the straight to the lab with our online lab form on our phones.
Because we put Get Tested into the website getcheckedonline.com.
That's right. And then the lab sent us our results straight to our email. It was fantastic. So simple.
Very, very easy.
Very easy.
And for younger people or for whatever reason, it's also anonymous.
Yeah, you don't have to see the doctor.
When you go into the lab, they say, what name would you like us to call you when we're ready for you? You could literally say Billy Bob. You don't have to say your real name. It's a number that corresponds with your online profile, which does have your real information. But if you're at all nervous or whatever, you can go completely anonymously to get tested.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, so the next episode was taboos. Our kinks, where they come from. Basically, all I have to say is learn about yourself, admit it to yourself, and then share it with whoever you want to do it with.
Yeah, and this taboos is fantastic because since we've done this, since we started the podcast, I have learned so much about how diverse people's interests are sexually. So their kinks, their fetishes, even just vanilla type stuff. It's every person is different. It is so varied. Yeah. No two people are the same as far as their interests.
But Rhea, I've had sex with 40 guys. None of them have told me about their kinks.
I know. That's
obviously, and you would think that they all just like missionary position. I
know.
And that's it.
They don't.
Because that's all, you know what I mean? I mean,
I know.
There's some variety, but not variety like the way that you're talking about, the way that you've learned.
Yes.
And these are regular dudes that you're learning from, or, the research that you've done. People don't admit their kinks.
Yes, that's right. So that's exactly right, Rosa. The thing about taboos and kinks is people are very secretive. So they're not talking with their partners. They're not telling anyone. All this is happening elsewhere. Yeah. Secretly. And it's fascinating. But I'll tell you, I mean, it is vast, the interests. Yeah. Very, 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 very vast.
And one thing I do have to say, this is a tip, is that once you do discover your kink, or your, fantasy, whether it's small or big or anything, and you have a partner you want to share it with, this is not something you say in tears. And this is straight from Dan Savage's mouth, because I'm a big fan of his. You share this news joyfully. Yeah. You say, this is an amazing part of myself that I want to share with you. Are you interested?
Yes, absolutely.
And, if it's a new partner and they say they're not interested, that's, again, a gift. Because then you can say, thank you for letting me know, and I'm going to go find somebody who is.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's important to me to experience this kind of fantasy played out in real life.
Yeah.
But it's not like this like death sentence, shameful thing. Be like, I have this thing I want to tell you about. I'm so excited to share it because I have a feeling you're going to be interested in playing with me this way. What do you think? This is a nice thing to be able to share with your partner. This isn't a scary,
and you can ease
shameful
people.
thing.
You can ease people in too. Because some of them can be quite extreme. You might really want to be locked up in a cock cage, right?
Yeah.
But you might have a girlfriend, and maybe you don't say you want to be right away. Maybe you ease her into it, and you say, I really like the feeling of my dick being in control of someone. Maybe we could start by doing some orgasm control. We could do some edging. There's, like, we talk about scaling.
Yeah. Oh, like your dick being in someone else's control.
That's right.
That's what you mean.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be in a cage per se, but there's other little smaller ways of maybe getting that same feeling, which doesn't seem so extreme, right?
Yeah, like if you're already committed to somebody and you introduce a kink, they might need to take time to grow into it.
Exactly.
But that's the perfect time to say, well, I learned about scaling. I learned that there's tiny little things you can do. You don't have to go to the full extreme of that fantasy right away or ever.
Yeah,
totally. This is just, you're my number one priority, and if you don't want to do it, that's fine. But I really hope you consider it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And then let's build up to it. And there's a lot of couples out there that in 10 years down the road, a wife or a husband finds out that whatever wants the other partner wants to do something, and you might have to grow into that idea.
Yeah.
But you can start really small.
Yeah, and the person on the receiving end, if someone's telling you this, it could be a little bit shocking at first. So try and be open-minded. Try not to judge too much. And, we've said this before. If it's something that you've put thought into it and you absolutely don't want to do it, maybe you can talk to your partner about them doing it with someone else.
Yeah.
Perhaps. That's one option. The other thing I have to say about kinks and taboos is that when you're open to other people's kinks and you actually see how much pleasure it can bring them, it can be a massive turn on.
Yeah.
So I've experienced that myself. I've let people do things that they want to do, and it wasn't necessarily something that I thought would turn me on, but just seeing how turned on they've gotten, it was very, very hot.
Yeah.
So, when you start letting yourself go and maybe taking part in someone else's play and you see how much pleasure it brings them, you might start enjoying it yourself.
Yeah, and that's what we mean about growing into it.
Yeah, exactly.
And, one of my goals, about my fantasies, was squirting.
Yeah.
So that was the next episode, right? And that just goes to show that any goal is achievable.
Yeah, because you did squirt.
Because I did it.
Yeah.
And I think I can do it again.
That's great.
Right? And so I did my research. I tried. I shared with a guy that this was something I really wanted to do. So he was on the same page. All types of different efforts went into this. But it was really my goal. And I did it. And so that just goes to show maybe that's all your goal is. Yeah. Right? But now I can move on to more goals and bigger and better things.
Yeah, well, that's great. And you can see Rosa telling her squirting story on our YouTube channel. It's pretty good. And she can give you some tips on if you want to achieve that yourself. Squirting for me has never been a goal, but apparently it's in another level of orgasm.
It is.
Right? And you have to let go even more. Mm-hmm. So perhaps I will give it a whirl sometime.
Maybe. My new thing is I do want to experience more ass play. I just need to get over that fear, because on the other side of fear, there's going to be some amazing pleasure.
Yeah.
And so, again, softer butt plugs. I want to get fucked in the ass. I want to do it all. I really want to introduce that a lot more.
Yeah.
Try all that stuff, and I just want to do way more learning. I want to talk to as many people as I can. I want a lot of more women's feedback on their experiences. If they've tried anything that we've recommended, or if they've adopted any of our, sayings or ideas or tips, if they've done anything like that. We really would love to hear from women. We want to hear more of a women's perspective and ideas about all of these topics.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I want to do is, my goal too was not just ass play, but I wanted to be more submissive. But finding someone to dominate me proved, again, just like the threesome, trickier than I thought. Mm-hmm. All kinds of flakiness, lots of talk, not a lot of action. Ghosting, all of it. But then also, I would like to maybe do a little bit more practicing, scaling, doming myself.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
that's
Rhea's a total switch.
That's what we found out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love some more dommy stuff. I think I just have to ask for it, honestly.
Yeah. And it's hard, a lot of, another thing why I found out it's a little bit trickier to get, a lot of guys want to be domed themselves.
Yes. They're looking for a different dynamic. They want to have somebody dominate them.
And that's another secret that a lot of guys have that I've learned. That's a big kink for a lot of straight dudes. They really, in some way or another, want to be domed by a woman, maybe by a man in some cases.
Yeah, and it probably comes a lot from the same place where it's like, I'm tired of being in charge.
Yeah, they want to be pegged.
Yeah.
And, there was questions about, we got DM'd some questions about pegging, right? It's a huge turn on for guys, especially.
Yeah, a lot of guys are very curious about this. So if anyone is listening and they're like, I secretly want to get pegged, you are not alone.
Not alone.
Everyone wants it.
Everyone.
I mean, not everyone, but it's very, very common DM that we get. Men are very curious about it because of whatever reason, but has been something that's a big turn on that we've talked about with a lot of guys in our DMs.
And straight men love watching trans woman porn.
Oh,
very hot right now.
Yeah.
I mean, and I can't imagine how it's so common. It is crazy. So I've watched it myself. It's but for me, I've intellectualized the fact that it's a woman.
Yeah.
And I'm not attracted to women.
Yeah.
So although I love watching people masturbate, it's not really my kind of porn, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I think for them, it's a taboo seeing a woman's body with a dick, right? So it can be kind of. But for me, it's a woman, and it doesn't make you gay, by the way, because you're literally watching a woman masturbate. So there's something gay about that.
And it doesn't make you gay to want to get pegged. It's a kind of pleasure that you desire, has no definition on your sexuality.
Yeah, so get rid of that shame, people. It's okay.
This shame. Don't worry about the shame. Get rid of it because everybody wants this. Everyone's curious about it. It's a very actually small percentage of the population that isn't curious about it in one way or another. Yeah. About ass play, about that kind of pleasure, because you're missing out on a whole aspect of your pleasure if you're not curious about getting fucked in the ass.
And also butts, guys, it probably feels amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, for most people, women or men, but butt stuff.
For guys.
You can have an amazing orgasm.
Yeah.
And the other thing is how many guys have told me, I mean, online, because they're kind of secretive about it, but there's a lot of guys that when they masturbate, they might borrow their girlfriend's dildos or even have their own dildo that they use, or butt plugs, because they know how pleasurable it can be to have something in their butt.
Yeah.
So don't be worried if you have to go buy yourself a dildo and stick it up your ass. It doesn't make you gay.
You should do it.
Yeah, you should. We encourage that, actually.
Yeah, we do it. And it feels awesome.
Rosa does.
Oh, sorry. I do it.
But, I mean, if you're a guy, put something up your butt, jerk off.
Yeah.
You'll probably have the best orgasm of your life.
And honestly, I think that the overall message that we're trying to send is that closed mouths don't get fed.
Yeah.
And you need to ask for what you want. Obviously, figuring out what you want first is really important. Being confident, being comfortable with somebody, forging ahead into the unknown through your fears, because there's pleasure on the other side of that. And you really need to ask for it.
Yeah, you have to have good communication. It's so important. This mind reading business.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Because you could find out, if you're not on the same page as someone, you could find out that you are just making up fantasies and lies
Yeah.
in your head. You're literally lying to yourself about what's really going on. But as soon as you have even one conversation, you can see if you're on the same page as somebody or not.
Yeah.
And obviously there's time and there's a place, there's a beautiful dance that happens when you start dating somebody, and there's the mystery is exciting, but there has got to be a point where you find out if you're on the same page as somebody. And as soon as you realize you're not and you're not going to get what you want, then peace the fuck out.
Yeah.
So I think
definitely.
that's, I've been living my life that way, and I haven't never been happier.
Yeah, you don't want to waste your own time. That's the
Yeah.
other thing. Like, not only do you not want to waste other people's time, but your own time. Like, you could be missing out on pleasure. Like, don't be in a relationship for 10, 15 years with someone and you're not having the kind of sex that you want to have, or you haven't even spoken about it.
Rhea, don't be in a relationship for 10 or 15 days with somebody
right.
that you're not
That's
having.
right.
Because it's much easier to cut it off then. I don't have feelings for you yet. That's a great way to start practicing things. Yeah, maybe if you're listening and you do have a long 10, 15-year relationship, you're thinking to yourself, oh, I got to start communicating better. But if you're single and you have the opportunity, cut people out that don't serve you well,
Yeah.
right? Serve something. This is not like you don't need a servant in your life. This is like you are serving a purpose that, we're on the same page, that I can serve you a purpose, and we can have a great sex life. Cut somebody out that isn't giving you what you need.
Yeah.
Especially if you're asking for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
10 or 15 days into it, you don't have feelings for them yet. So it's great practice. In fact, best practice, because you won't waste your own time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're going to love yourself.
Good advice.
You're going to
Practice.
fucking love yourself. And you're going to have the best life ever.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll see you next season.
Bye.
Stay tuned.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks so much for listening. We love you guys.
And don't forget to subscribe and send us all your DMs.